Hi everyone, very nice to be here. Very happy. So my name is Marcelo. I'm very easy to find online. There's not a lot of people with similar names, so if you can find me on Twitter, it'll be very easy. Same for LinkedIn. If I have any questions, I'm also happy to answer anytime over those channels. So I'm going to talk a bit about the things that I've seen and have worked for me and the teams that I built so far. So I am CTO and COO at Remote. We created this company a couple of years ago. We're now over 600 people. And so fully distributed, fully remote. There's no single office across the world. And we have people from every part of the earth in different roles, from engineering to operations, customer experience, product design, you name it. Literally everyone is remote. So I'm going to talk you through the things that work for us. Mind you, I don't like to share recipes because it doesn't work outside of your context, right? Different people, different companies, different cultures, different contexts. Even sometimes technology is the only thing that takes to make things different. So take it as is. If you have any questions, please reach out. Happy to answer or just chat. So I'm going to talk through the foundations of remote. When we started remote, let me just walk you through quickly what remote does without doing a pitch. So we help companies hire everyone all around the world without having to have an office in a country. So if you're in a country A, let's say Portugal, where I'm at right now, and you want to be hired by a company in the US, usually that company needs to have an office or an entity, legal entity in your own country to be able to hire you. Otherwise, just a freelancer. So with remote, we make that bridge. And so companies in one country can hire the best person in the world for a role and not just be bound by the talent pool in their own area. And the other opposite, have people that can, such as ourselves, that can work for the best company in the world, doing what we love and do best, and getting a good pay for it, not, again, bound by a local offering or local pay. And we take care of all that. Contracts and benefits all goes through us. So when we started this company, we knew we started it because we knew that we wanted to help build the future of work. And the future of work starts with remote work, distributed work. A lot of companies for the last 10 years have started to go full remote for the big advantages that it brings us. As you know, you have like a massive talent pool around the world, equity, a lot of equality as well. And also you can build diverse teams and quite more balanced workplace, even if fully digital. So one of the things we knew for a fact is that there's no way you can build a company that is fully asynchronous, fully remote, fully distributed around the world without common values. Like, we're all people from different nationalities, different cultural backgrounds, and we're all very different. But there's something that binds us together. It's just the fact that we're all human beings, or some more robots than others, but we're all fundamentally human beings. In a sense, we're a company. Like, we don't call ourselves a family. We don't like to. We don't follow mantras or those nice rules that companies like to write on the wall, saying, "Oh, we're in this together." No, of course, this is a job. Like, even to us founders, it's a job, and we need to understand that. And we need to also understand that this is a hyper growth company, and that there are basic things that help us drive what we're doing. And at the base of it all, the common things are values, human values. So we set in place 5 fundamental values: kindness, ownership, ambition, transparency, and excellence. These are human values. They are not specific to remote. We certainly did not invent them, but we wanted to make sure that whatever we were building, it was built for people, like not just ourselves, but we're here to help people all around the world to get into the future of work, to get a better shot at a better work, a better job, a better life, move to a different country if that's what it takes. And also companies to be way more diverse and stop with the excuses of, well, we're all white people because that's what we can hire locally. And so we set out to do this, but we built, sort of going back to Mr. Miyagi, strong roots, strong trees. um, we know that, of course, building a company and a structure and a team, you have to start somewhere, and whatever you start from, it will propagate. It will scale with the company. So if you start with bad things, you will scale bad things as well. And building a company, building a team, especially engineering teams, it's very much like a physics game. You increase pressure, growth. You increase with pressure, as you know, by physics, increases heat. If heat builds up, material cracks, right? Um, so you need to put foundations in place, such as these values that help us to always remind ourselves what we're doing every day, and how and who we're building it for. So we expect literally everyone in the company, with no exception, to follow all these values. Through kindness, you can know how you can just interact with about anyone in your life, being kind. Yes, you can still demand things to be done in a certain way, more perfect, better, different. You can still even fire people while being kind. It's not one or other. You can still be very much someone that is driven by excellence and their value, which we cater for very well and care for very much, because in our line of business, we can't miss a payroll. We can't allow people to have an illegal contract. Quite the opposite. We need to always be on our A game. So we need to demand ourselves excellence. Ownership, because we're fully distributed, the company completely asynchronous all around the world. Sometimes people are doing things while I'm asleep, and vice versa. And one of the things that helps is that, for instance, we don't have a working schedule at remote. So if I want to take some 2 hours off and go to play PlayStation, I will, as long as that me doing so will not impact anyone negatively. And people need to know that I own the task that I've been entitled to, that I've been tasked with. So I will have to deliver, because no one is checking my work. No one is continuously checking over my shoulder. And so I just own the things that I do. And the best way to promote ownership is by being transparent, another value, which will help everyone literally trust each other, and to provide insight into how things are going, how some stuff progressing. Do I need to help someone else? Does anyone else need my help? And so it allows us to continuously build on top of what we're doing daily with each other, with a continuous conversation and continuous improvement as well. And ultimately, ambition. We are building something very tough. There's a reason why no company before us ever attempted this in this way, because we own all the entities around the world. We don't use third parties. It's all remote, and that's tough. It literally means that we have to open an office, or a digital office, in all the countries in the world, growing very, very fast. In 2 years, we went from 2 people to 600. And so it's good to be ambitious. It's important to be ambitious and to be driven by ambition, but never let go of the other values. And so these were the ones that we created as foundation for ourselves. And I have to admit that 2 years later, I was very afraid that they got diluted. They would be diluted. People coming in, they would not feel like they wanted to share. But the truth is, without us imposing anything, just feeling that this was the human thing to do and treat humans like humans, I feel today that if I were going to go to the company and say, look, I'm going to change one of the values, I think there will be a mutiny, because people really, like, the first month of everyone at remote, they're like, is this for real? Is this company for real? It just sounds people sound too human and nice for this to be real. And the truth is, we don't do much. We just keep it simple, keep it human. But it has allowed us to grow quite sustainably and have what I consider, and even though I'm very biased, a healthy culture. I don't assume or presume to say that we're the best culture around. I don't believe in such things, but we're doing quite well, even at hyper growth level. because we fundamentally trust humans to do what they do best. And then it leads me to the next topic, which is how we work. Like, again, we're all distributed all around the world. And sometimes I work with people that are not awake now. They're on the other side of the world, and the well-deserved sleep or having fun or being with their families. Sometimes I work with people that are in the same city as I am, and they're not available. They're not online. So that doesn't mean that the company stops. That doesn't mean that I need to wait for the person to come online to have a chat and then to discuss what to do next. No, it's all about asynchronous work. So asynchronous work is based on a fundamental principle that you do not wait and avoid waiting, because waiting is wasteful. And every time you wait, it means that you're not doing something you should be doing, and other person is not as well, or they are depending on you. And so we break our tasks into as smaller items as possible so that we can parallelize them, and also so that we can document and write down all single pieces of information that we have to work on in order to make the best out of it. Also, if you hear a child in the back or a dog, it's my family. And what does this mean? This means that we depend heavily on our documentation. If you want to know a bit more about this, you can find it at handbook.remote.com. We literally write down all the things, from how we run this company, how our product is built, what are the dependencies that we have, how do we tackle certain kinds of projects, what's our culture like, how do we take the days off, how do we ask for budgets and expenses. Literally everything is written down. This helps us that people don't have to wait for others or to depend for others in small things. Of course, it's always important to rely on others and understand that we're humans, again, that we need to chat, we need to have fun together. And there are plenty of occasions, like, because we are not we're not robots. And so even though we have literally all the things documented, and then if we're referring to something, what the other person will ask is immediately, where is this documented? It's not about bite chatting, it's about reference. It's about, for instance, when we're dealing with something, if someone is taking over, is dealing with something and needs to step away for a minute, and I need to help in some way, I need to have visibility into what they're doing. This affects not just engineering, but the whole company. And so if there's been a development on a certain topic, I will see a thread of the discussion of the notes that have been taken, be it a project or a single task. And throughout the day, we have, in the weeks and days of the week, actually, we have multiple events. That's how we keep the culture alive as well. Because when you call with someone fully remote, you have to understand that it's deliberate. Not like an office. You're in an office working away, and someone bumps into you, or you find someone while you're getting some water, or meet someone for lunch because they just passed by. And it's not the same thing, because that's not deliberate. You decide when you move from when you're doing your commute, going to the office, you're implicitly changing and putting your office mask. It's your office game, even if you don't notice it anymore. But through years of working in an office, you realize that it's not the same setting as home. So you're never your true self in an office. And it's a lot of politics around it. It's not, maybe you're in a super healthy workplace, but it's not your home. You're not the same person. Even if you really try, it's not the same person. And you feel that, like, it's very easy when you're with someone from work and you bump into someone that you know, like a family member or something. You know that something it's nice, but it's weird because now you have your family and someone from the office. And so that's your brain telling you, well, this is a bit odd. Which one am I going to pick? So you have to build a deliberate working environment and work culture. It goes from, like, we have Dungeons and Dragons events every week, or people playing Pictionary, or people having coffee chats regularly in different time zones. But it's deliberate. No one is forced into. And when you see this, when you see my house, and when you see my family, I am letting you in on it. I've had cases of people that I work with at remote, that I've worked in the past, that I've worked with them longer previously, but I now know them a lot better. because when we call, it's deliberate. You get to share intentionally things. And if you don't feel like sharing, if you don't feel like working, you don't. And then you move on. And then tomorrow is another day. But you don't have to bump into that person that smells like that. You don't have to smell people, which is quite the benefit. And more a bit on culture, which is can be endless. How to build a work culture. It can be super fun. I think, at least speaking for myself, I really value the people I work with, and I find a lot of them are super amazing people that I would just want to keep friends for the rest of my life. But I can talk more about it later or different channel. If you want to know more about it, hit me up offline. Um, and I'm going to talk a bit about the how we make it work from an engineering standpoint. I'll always talk about engineering, product design, operations. By operations, I mean people from customer experience, customer support, service, our internal operations team who gets to help deliver the service that we provide, legal teams, etc. It's all remote flow. For instance, we don't do sprints, we don't do agile, or most of the agile practices or ceremonies, or Scrum or something like that. We just do simple Kanban, left to right, and we don't work based on timelines. What do we achieve with this and why? First, because I only believe that you should only apply a process if you have a problem. When a lot of teams and companies start with processes and backlog groomings and stuff like that, it's like taking a pill without knowing what ails you, right? You just decided to preemptively. Um, and to me, in my personal experience, it was never a good or a best practice. So we believe we always start with the simplest of process in every single place. And the ultimate process is to have no process at all. I believe, at least. Don't take it at face value, but by the way. And then if you have a problem, then we apply a process. We fix it and we go back and simplify it again. And remote flow is nothing but this continuous work, which is someone gets a task, they break it down, they start working on it, they ship it to production. We have multiple environments, they validate it, put it in production, they go back up again, pick another task and keep going. Without timelines, because humans suck at predicting time, without constraints, so that you can work with other people asynchronously, leave comments in the tasks. We use GitLab heavily. And then you have a huge timeline of threads that you can look into later to see how things were done, and then document the things in a persistent way in Notion that we use as well for persistent documentation, which is not transient. So transient is stuff that works on stuff like threads in GitLab or Trello cards and stuff like that. It allows you to make decisions on the spot, but then it's hard for people to later refer to them. So we document all the static things and like persistent things in Notion, so you can always look it up. And this allows us to get a continuous flow of work and to optimize for asynchronous work, so that we can distribute work across time zones and across multiple people, that people can hand over work between each other, and we don't have that pressure of times and timelines and I'm going to deliver this in 2 weeks. Come on, in engineering world, when did that ever happen? I mean, either you're super cautious and you're saying like I'm going to deliver in 2 weeks and you only needed like 2 days, or you're going to overpromise and then underdeliver, because humans are bad at predicting the future. If we were good, we'd all be rich or dead. So I don't really believe in. Of course, sometimes you have to put timelines. So like you need to make a public announcement, or a partner is waiting on you. Sure, that's fine. I mean, you can be conservative or try to go for a timeline. I don't believe in overworking. I think that it soon blows up very fast. Sometimes you have to push through, but that should be like 1% of the cases, and not more than that. And that's it. Pure, simple flow of work. It's as simple as it sounds. No ceremonies, simplified. We have over a team of over 100 engineers, and so far has worked out perfectly. Again, happy to answer any questions or comments. Find me online, pretty easy to find. Marcelo@remote.com or Marcelo_Lebre. Thank you so much. Lovely to be here. Have fun.